Good afternoon, Internet world. Welcome in to another edition of the Joe Gaither Show right here on Bama Central. And this is the Joe Gaither Show on Cowbell Corner. We're very pleased to be partnered up with Mizzou Central and Cowbell Corner, a couple of our brother-sister sites, and we'll talk about some other sports around the SEC, as it was a huge day yesterday in the SEC. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving, wherever you spent that with some family, had some good friends, had some good food as well. But I hope you enjoyed watching the Egg Bowl at the end of the night. So we're going to be joined on Cowbell Corner by Justice Sandle. Justice writes for Cowbell Corner, and we are going to spend some time talking Bulldogs football and basketball and figuring out what the heck is going on in Starkville. So, Justice, before we get rolling, man, how was your Thanksgiving? And thank you so much for giving us some of your time.
Thanksgiving, it was good. Good to see the family. We did lose, of course. That's always going to hurt. It's always going to hurt. But other than that, nothing to really complain about.
Yesterday, Mississippi State losing 17-7 to Ole Miss, losing the Egg Bowl. Lane Kiffin taking it back to Oxford. Just tell people who don't understand, because I think that the Egg Bowl is a top-tier rivalry in the SEC, but many times gets overlooked because, let's be honest, Ole Miss and Mississippi State have not been super relevant in the national scene. Tell everybody what the Egg Bowl means.
What it means, it's the best of Mississippi. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about Mississippi or have that real good understanding of what Mississippi is, but we're pretty much big football people too. Even though you have your other schools like your Alabamas, your Auburns, and things like that, it's a very, very heavy competition between us. It started with the Stark Vegas thing, because most people, if you've never been to Starkville before, it's not really that much to do. So it's a mockery of us basically with the Stark Vegas. But at the end of the day, it's competition, and you can always get good with competition.
Yeah, and so last night, I guess, what was the Mississippi State feel? It was in Starkville. The crowd was loud. The crowd was lit. But was there a great expectation going into the game of beating Ole Miss? Obviously, Ole Miss came into the game with 9 wins. Mississippi State went into the game with an interim coach. Yes, the interim coach, Greg Knox, won last week against Southern Miss. But really, was there any expectation of pulling the upset against the Rebels?
There's always that expectation against them. No matter what, we always think we're going to win. But we understand that injuries, a lack of a defense every now and then. We understand what our team is, but it's also a rivalry. You could always beat your rival no matter what's out there and what's really going to happen. So expectations, we understood they're a better team. We get that. But we can always beat a better team if we just go ahead and do everything we need to do.
Where does Greg Knox taking the field on an ATV rank in all-time Egg Bowl memories?
It's up there, because after we've had a tough season, but having that energy, knowing what we're going to do, he is our interim head coach, and maybe he might get a chance afterwards, who knows, but just that energy alone, bringing Starkville back alive just for that one moment, it was up there, top 5 most likely.
We talked to Kinsey Bradenberg last week on the show, and we talked kind of about the Zach Arnett firing. So let me get your perspective. Zach Arnett, in less than a full year, gets fired. What's Justice Sandle feel about Arnett? And was it too early to fire him, or maybe that was the right move at the right time?
It was the right move at the right time, but I still feel like it was a bit too early. He is a younger coach, so I think a bit more time and a bit more help around him with his coordinators, things could have also gotten a bit better. But at the right time, knowing where our program is about to go to, since the majority of our players are seniors or juniors and likely they might transfer, like Will is possibly transferring out soon. So I think it was the right thing at the right time, knowing that we have a freshman quarterback that's going to need a good staff around him to produce what we need in the future.
Well, that's my next question. Perfect transition. Will Rogers, after the game, after the loss, announces, okay, I'm probably hitting the transfer portal, going to use my COVID year, take my graduate transfer year. And it sounds like he's considering or leaning towards going to Kentucky is the favorite at the moment. What's Will Rogers? What's his legacy mean to Starkville? 4 great years, obviously no SEC titles or anything to go with that, but 4 really solid years. What does Will Rogers? What does that name? What does that weight carry in Starkville?
It's a good quarterback. It's one of the best quarterbacks we've had since Dak Prescott, in my opinion. And consistency. He's a very accurate passer. He's going to get you the ball wherever he needs to get it to, depending on the system that he's in. Because we tried to change the system completely around him this year, and that's not really the best thing to do with a quarterback. Going from 3 straight years of air raid, pretty much just constantly straight to this pro style offense, it's going to be confusing. It's going to be difficult, but he's a good quarterback. Put him in the right system around the right people, he'll produce for you.
How do you think that he will do? Will it hurt you to see him playing anywhere else, but hypothetically speaking, at Kentucky?
It won't be the best. I understand that you have a better opportunity possibly there for what the future holds, but there's no ill will towards him. He produced great stuff for us while he's here. He's second all time in the SEC in passing yards now. So legacy wise, he's done great things for us. And I think he's one of the best Bulldogs that we've had in most recent years, especially in the quarter.
So where does Mississippi State go from here? There's no bowl game to get ready for, and I'm sorry for your sake that you don't get a bowl trip to go cover them on. That's kind of stinky. There's no bowl game to get ready for. 5-7? Yeah, 5-7 for the final record. You got it all off season. The early signing date is coming up in 3 weeks. I guess the next big step is let's get a coach. Let's solidify the coach. So where are we at in the coaching search? Last week we talked with Kenzie Bradenberg, and she kind of let us know that maybe Dan Mullen, maybe Jamie Chadwell are out there. You're starting to hear different names this week. What's the latest? What's kind of the scuttlebutt? Where have the rumors taken us in the Mississippi State coaching search?
We're still in the Dan Mullen area, but I don't know if that's 100% certain at this point. But we're still looking. Our athletic director, Zach Selman, he doesn't want to make too much noise about it right now because right now now that we're getting the basketball season, our focus kind of wants to be on basketball right now before we make those big like announcements and everything like that. So.
Well, it's going to be important for Mississippi State if they want to continue to build to get somebody in here who can hold this recruiting class together. 3 weeks until early signing date, December 20th. So it's going to be real important. I know the focus is wanting to be on basketball, and we'll move to that in just a second. But how is there a sense of urgency to let's get a guy ASAP, even if it is Dan Mullen or if it is someone else, or promoting Greg Knox to full-time spot? Is the sense of do you feel like the sense of urgency is appropriately there in the Mississippi State athletic department?
Yeah, absolutely. They know that we need a coach, and they know that all the coaches in the SEC, they're of quality. So if we don't have the same quality, we won't be able to compete with everybody else. So it's a known understanding of we need the people in the right spots. And with our recruiting, not that many have dropped out. We still have our same numbers. We're getting the wide receiver. We're getting a good number of players for us. We just need the right coaching staff around us, and they'll be able to produce.
All right, so let's flip it to basketball real quick because Mississippi State is actually playing currently as we speak in Humphrey Coliseum. They're playing Nichols. Let me see if I can get a score update as they are up 44-28 when the second half has just started over there in Starkville. But okay, so Mississippi State's up right now. They're 5-0 currently through the early part of the season. They just got ranked into the top 25 this week. They got moved to number 25. How are we feeling? Obviously, everybody flipping over to football and going into basketball. What's the expectations? You got no Smith, right, with a foot injury. So give me the latest. What's the scuttlebutt on Mississippi State basketball? Obviously, in the middle of a game right now that they are winning very, very, very handily.
Yeah, basketball-wise, very high expectations. We expect to do well decently in the tournament, SEC tournament and March Madness when we get there. Freshman Josh Herbert, he's looking really, really good right now for us. Totally, we won't get him back till about January in SEC play because of the foot injury, but because of what Chris Johnson's done with our roster and what we're able to do, we have so many people we can put out there, different bodies, different things that they can do, shooting, scoring, defensively. It's all good over here in Mississippi State, both sides, women and men's.
This is Chris Jan's second year or third?
This is second year.
Yeah, so tell us about what kind of play style, because obviously from my perspective, I only saw him twice last year with the Mississippi State-Alabama games. I saw a lot of heavy inside presence, obviously with Tulu Smith being very, very effective in those games. But what kind of game does Chris Jans want to play if he is able to get all of his recruits in there and play exactly the way he wants to play? What does a Chris Jans basketball team really look like in Starkville?
It's defense, 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 defense. That's what he's preaching. That is what he's doing. And we do have one of the best defensive teams in the country. Now that we've added some more shooters with our recruiting, we're starting to spread the ball out a bit more, scoring a lot more threes than what we need to do. And that's our only thing that held us back from last year was our three ball. Now we're able to score that with a bit more ease. And with our freshman, Josh Herbert, shot making, shot creating ability, and his just precision on the court is making everything a bit better.
Well, we're talking to Justice Sandle of Cowbell Corner. We've been hitting up about Mississippi State football and basketball. What else is on your radar at Cowbell Corner that you are kind of paying attention to, whether it is football or basketball, something I haven't hit already, or maybe an outside sport, a women's basketball, or obviously getting ready for baseball, very, very popular at Mississippi State as well. So what other athletic angles are you looking forward to as the semester kind of goes into its last 2 months?
Well, recently, soccer-wise, our women's soccer, we got to the Sweet 16 for the first time in our history. So that's really big for us. In the future, we're going there. Women's basketball, we're ranked 25 right now, too. And I think we'll also do really good in women's basketball. Baseball, we're getting a lot more pitchers. We just got a new pitching coach for our team, and I think that's going to be really helpful for us. And I think baseball is going to be a really exciting time this year. We had a bit of a down year, but we got a lot more recruits coming in, and I think baseball is going to be another top-tier sport for us.
What do you know about a guy named Daniel Hill, running back out of, I believe, Meridian, Mississippi, who's considering Alabama, Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Kentucky? He's been kind of playing all four schools. What do you know about Daniel Hill? And if you don't know anything, that's okay. But if you do, give us kind of the Mississippi State angle on Daniel Hill, four-star running back recruit in the class of 2024 out of Meridian, Mississippi. His father played at Mississippi State, and he's kind of been a high-time prospect. And I kind of feel like it's between Alabama, Mississippi State, and Kentucky at this point.
Yeah, I know a little bit about him. Nothing too much to go off, but some of the clips that I've seen, he's a really good running back. It'll be a nice piece to add for Mississippi State. Now that we're transitioning more into with our dual threat quarterback and Chris Parsons, who's likely going to be our starter for next year, we're going to transition more into a lot of those play action fakes, and he's a really good back for us that would be really good. So.
Well, we're going to have to see where he ends up committing. We've got, 3-4 weeks away until national early signing date, December 20th. Justice, I appreciate your time, man. I hope you have a great rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. Let's do it again sometime soon. Tell everybody where they can find you and how they can follow all of y'all's coverage at Cowbell Corner.
Cowbell Corner, our website is SI Cowbell Corner, just like with Bama Central and Ms. U. For me, Twitter, DatKing124 if you ever want to follow. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Let's do it again soon, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That's Justice Sandle joining us from Cowbell Corner talking about Mississippi State. They've got a big couple of months ahead of them. Yes, I know you may not care about State because they aren't that great at football, and obviously they didn't have a great year this year. They have a huge, huge month ahead of us. They go hire a coach. Okay. Boom. They go hit the transfer portal really hard. Okay. They've got the number 42 overall recruiting class in the country right now. They can build off that over the next 3 weeks. Okay. And you never know. It could be a quick turnaround in Starkville with the right hire. And so it's going to be very, very important for their athletic director to hire somebody pretty quickly, but also hire the right person. So we're going to leave you for the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend. That's going to do it for us. You already saw our Football Friday portion with Katie Wyndham and Austin Hannon. This was our Cowbell Corner portion with Justice Sandle. We appreciate everybody hanging out and joining us on this Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you guys all have had a great Thanksgiving weekend. Enjoy the football. It's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the week. You got Alabama basketball later on tonight on Friday. You've already got Mississippi State basketball. They're in the middle of their game. They will probably have won their game by the time we put this out. And then we've got basketball and football tomorrow. SEC football all over the place. Big rivalry weekend. Obviously, Iron Bowl on tap. You got Ohio State, Michigan. It's a college sports lover's dream of a weekend, and I hope that you all enjoy it. So big thanks to Justice Sandle for joining me for the Cowbell Corner segment. Big thanks to Austin Hannon and Katie Wyndham for joining joining me on the Football Friday segment of the day. It's been a blast. It's been a great week on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. We encourage you to follow us at Joe Gaither6 on any and all the social media machines. You can send your comments, questions, queries, and complaints. And we're going to have a great weekend covering Alabama football, covering Alabama basketball, following Mississippi State. We're going to go downstairs and look and see what's going on with Missouri and Arkansas as well. Roll Tide to you, Miss Julian Lee. Thanks so much for watching us each and every day. It's going to be a blast of a weekend, and we'll be back to talk about it on Monday right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.